Ooh, people, we made it. We made it. I'm still converting the buffer rate for the stream, but I thought I would just open the stream. Welcome everyone. Today's stream is about weird magical devices in plugin form that you might have missed. I know for sure I had missed. What is going on here is that there's a session that I am still waiting on and just working on. If you remember, what I have done here was audio engine crashed. We have done too many things. All right, so cancel. The audio engine has crashed on us while I was converting stuff. I've left my computer on for about, I think, 8 hours or something, and the reason is, and I hope I should have saved, I probably have saved, of course, I always save, that there's stuff that needs to stay on because I need to bounce it. I had to run away from the studio and do other stuff, mostly chores, and I am just back, you know? So I left everything on, everything has been completely untouched until like half an hour ago. So I came back here, just checked that everything was on, and the session is still on, and we're gonna work on some of the stuff. But first, we gotta solve the fact that obviously, the computer went to sleep and then woke up, and when they do, a computer should never go to sleep. I don't know why I have sleep settings. Hello, Marco. Hello, well met. The audio engine just crashed while I was converting buffer size and stuff. Let's see if we can somehow recover these. I have no idea whether these will be doable or not. Can I cancel? Can I send a report? Nope. All right, so I'll probably, usually when I've been here in Bitwig, what I do is I just wait. I just wait because sooner or later things become responsive and I can kind of either exit or not. This is 5.2 beta 3 of Bitwig Studio. And I'll give it a couple minutes and I'll keep pushing cancel. See? So, Bitwig Studio, people, is just insane. It's just, okay, it just, what, where, who? Let's do this. Let's do, what do you do usually? Magic, Marco. This is just insane. Since I have been using Bitwig, I have been completely misbehaving on it. First, I didn't know how it worked, so I've used it completely, you know, as like Pro Tools, and then I found out about groups and other things. Then second, I've loaded plugins, I've used the template to compose, but I was kind of growing into it. And I was like, oh, wait, this is done completely wrong. Let's go backwards. And then the beta 2 comes out. I update from 5.19, I think, because I didn't have the beta at first. And then I opted in. And so now it's a beta version. And then the version 3 comes in. And then we're switching stuff and I'm playing with optimizing the computer. And it's just horrible. You should never, ever produce music. This is serious stuff. This is stuff that will be stamped out to become real things, okay? So the song is actually done. And I don't know, Marco, if you were here, what I did today is I was working on it and then I had to leave to do other stuff. And I just left everything on. Reason being, there's stuff that needs to be bounced, like the Nord lead, the Prophet 6, things I've printed that should be printed, but they're only in MIDI. And I normally just go instantly into audio and bounce it. But I had to run, so I left everything on. The computer's been on for, I think, like 6 hours. I come back here. For some reason, it had gone to sleep, which you should never send the computer to sleep. And when it wakes up, I start streaming without rebooting the computer. I haven't rebooted. This is just the most horrible thing. And then I changed the buffer size. And you don't do that either. Close the project, change the buffer size, reload the project, because it's got to reload the plugins anyway. Okay, so you will not magically just step up. Okay, on a small project you might get away with it. Just don't do it, because sometimes, don't do it. But I've done it and it crashed, and I just waited, and it just, it's back. So now, what is the number one thing you do when you're presented with something like this and you don't know how things work? You just go File, Save, and you call it 11. 11, okay? So we call it 11. And I think now it's kind of safe to probably I would say probably close and restart. But because we're bold, absolutely bold, which means like completely reckless, what I would want to do is actually, I will not do it. I will check that my buffer size is actually 1024, and I know I've saved, so I'm kind of cool. We want to push it. It's a beta 3, right? So we want to see if things are working. Also, if they work, I would actually want to print. Okay, we got a lot of stuff to print. I'm in a phase of double checking stuff, whether or not I want to add sounds. I have done tons of modulation. I think Bitwig is where it's at with other stuff. It's not the only though, but it's just amazing how you can automate everything, and it's the right project for us. Let's activate the audio engine, just see where it goes, okay? We saved, so we're safe, right? The audio engine is one process, the plugins is another process, and the DAW itself is another process, which is usually the lightest. So I'm gonna go activate audio engine, engage. The mystical spinning wheel of the underworld is telling us that things are getting rebuilt. And I'm recording, I'm streaming, and I'm restarting the audio engine. You know what you should do when you do that? Always dim or actually mute your audio. Always, always. Because you never know. Something might spike up, you don't know. Still waiting for Reason 13 to come out. I've seen, okay, plugins crashed for some reason. We don't know what. Maybe it's Reason that's crashing. Maybe not. We'll wait until the plugins have gone up, and then we'll reload the crashed plugins. Which plugin has crashed? I would like to know. I will go through some of the tracks, just showing you what, like, I want to see that. Let's see there, because it's rebuilding it in real time. And I am working with just sandboxing the plugins all together. I'm not doing it by manufacturer. I'm not doing it individually. I'm doing it, if I remember correctly here. I also had an error on the MIDI Sport A, so I don't know why or how. Let's see, where is it? Plugins, I'm doing together. So plugins are sandboxed together, separating them from the audio engine. So I'd say we should reload the crashed plugins. Can I see which plugin has crashed? Maybe from the mixer? So this is my session at the moment. This is playing completely live. There's tracks that are, printed, tracks that are not. It doesn't look like there's a specific weird wrong thing, although it could be anywhere, right? So let's reload the crashed plugins. Is it gonna reload them all, or no? This is just the crashed plugins. So it's doing it. It's a completely modular environment, and it's working. Now, things I've learned from this session, from just working with Bitwig. Sometimes I like to bounce in place. Sometimes I like to bounce. The difference is if you bounce in place, it will become a hybrid track. That's what I've learned. And if you bounce, it will just create an audio track with the events. So when you bounce, as a physically bounce, you can pick whether you want to go pre-effects, so it will print what you have pre-effects, pre-inserts, pre-fader, which is like after the effects but before the fader, post-fader, which is after the effects and after the fader, or custom, meaning you can pick a point in which you want to print. Okay? For example, if you have a drum machine and you want to just freeze the drum machine, you can probably use bounce in place, because that's exactly what it will do. It will take the instrument and it will bounce it, but it will leave all of the other plugins untouched. Okay? But sometimes what I do is I have a pretty heavy sequence of effects that shape my sound, right? So sometimes it makes no sense to me to just, when the song's kind of done, for example, these snares, right? It makes no sense to me to just keep it pre-effects and then have all the plugins on, because it's actually, the plugins are the effects, and you know, it's just part of the sound. But say that, this is an interesting thing, say that up until the delay 4, I'm really building the sound, but then there's an EQ, then there's distortion, you know, well, this example's not pretty good because everything's kind of making the sound. But sometimes you have like 5 effects, really tone shaping, right? And then you have 1 EQ. And you still want to keep your options open in terms of equalization. You could print at the end of the delay 4 and you would start from EQ2. So what you do then, you create another track and it will create it for you, and you just copy the effects over, and you will, and then you know, set your send and retards, and you effectively have a copy of that minus the creative process, which I think is really good. So for example, these snares, as you can see, I've deactivated, and I have a lot of white tracks. The white tracks are the printed bounced tracks that are above them. So for example, Wave Alchemy Synth Drums Bounce 3 Bounce, whatever that's the name, you call it, you know, I called it with its name, but then I've put this kind of this white square. It's entirely me. I don't know if you can even see it. It's kind of, I have my mouse cursor over it. It's just a way for me to remember that these are prints, you know, and I should probably start with that character rather than ending it there. I know that on Windows this is Alt-GR 987, so it's very easy because you go 987, you go, you know, 432 fingers, and it will just generate this white square, which is really easy to look at. And if you do this, you see that, you know, your VASD 3, because I don't know if you've noticed, but Wave Alchemy Synth Drums is abbreviated with the acronym VASD. How cool is that? VASD is the reference for first-person shooters gaming on keyboard, you know? Mouse and VASD, that's how it's called, or WASD. Some people call it WASD, which I think it's kind of weird. But anyway, this is VASD. How cool is that, you know? It's a lingo term in gamer terms for saying that you control your character by using WS for forward, backwards, and A to D to strafe left, right. I don't know. Is it that interesting? It is super interesting. So this is VAS 3, all right? So I should really start with that character and not end it, just so that it makes it even easier to see that square. You can use any character you want. I've learned these on Pro Tools, and I've started making my own kind of James Joyce of track nomenclature. I don't know if that makes sense. James should really be here instead of working, so he could appreciate me going James Joyce on track names. But Pro Tools is very anal about special characters and duplicate names and spaces sometimes. It used to be really stubborn. So for example, these tracks I've printed, and now it sounds like this. Let's see if you have sound actually, because you should. Yeah, you don't. You don't. And in fact, you don't, because down here on monitor tracks, your to-stream and tools not enabled. All right, now you do. So this is, for example, my tracks, and that's how I printed them. This track also has a ton of automation. I think it's got a lot of stuff from ECM, and it got printed because I did the bounce, and I feel very safe about that. I feel very safe because you kind of glue together the instrument for sure, the tracks, and then the effects inserts, the sends you copy, but then you also have the automation. And I kind of think that is fairly nice when you automate the inserts. Obviously, if you automate the sends, you still gotta copy that because it will not translate. If you do a hybrid track, then yes, it will translate. So you can probably even move these, and there's a shortcut that I really love. For example, let's start printing stuff, okay? Because we got Silver Bullet and the oven to try out. Have you ever tried the oven? The oven is Handy Amp's genius stuff with Mayor Applebaum, and I love that. But we got Silver Bullet coming for the kill, right? I tried it yesterday. Jolie, which I don't know if is here or not, suggested it to me, and I was like, I've never tried it, but I remember working. You're working with both. They're different, but they kind of feel the same task to me. We'll talk about that. We got work to do, serious work to do. So if I go down here, there's a Voyager line that is very dangerously here, and I want to print this bad boy here. Reason being, if I ever so slightly change this, we'll get destroyed. So I don't know if I should consolidate it. Probably yes. And then we're gonna take these and I'm gonna go bounce in place, just so I have it. Do we want to do bounce in place? Should be done bounce in place. Yes. So we go Control B. All right. I have no idea whether this worked or not. We should solo it. It's a weird line. Nope. For some reason it didn't work. Or yes. Or maybe it's me. Oh, Lovero, hello. Hello, welcome. Oven is great, like multi-band saturation. I love the oven, and I think on my style of music, if you're making this kind of stuff, but not limited to that, it is really insane, really insane. Like it really works. But I've tried Silver Bullet yesterday, and it surprised me because if I had to kind of say it short, the oven is kind of deep horizontally, but Silver Bullet is high in terms of height. It can go really vertical on your mix. I don't know, it's vertical versus horizontal, or like Z plane versus Y plane. Like I was like, oh yeah, okay, well I do. And then I tried the end saturation. I was like, wait, what? I was like, what? And it has an amazing EQ post for just fine-tuning stuff. I can wait to use that. And Marco says, for me, Silver Bullet is more forward sounding and the oven is just vibe. Okay, that is also true. The oven is more interconnected together and the Silver Bullet is like slapping it. But the one thing I heard that I really loved is that I heard the Silver Bullet going higher, and the oven, maybe the both of them are amazing to use. I should actually integrate maybe both. It kind of feels a little bit too much to use it, but all right. So this Voyager is acting up and I want to know why and how. You see what I've done here? A lot of stuff on the volume and things. So there should be a note here. I want to play it first. And it doesn't play? Why don't you play? Oh, maybe I know why. We got probably because of the crash. All right. So does the Prophet 12 play? Oh, okay. So nothing is really playing. But if I play the Prophet 12, oh, why is it on 1? This should not be on 1. This has to be on user, this. All right, and it's not playing because there's no arpeggiator stuff. But why isn't these playing the Voyager? All right, and this one. So it happened to me. I don't know if it's this beta or not. Here what we're gonna do. So I'm playing it and I see that there's no data being sent. I'm gonna do, it's the brutal day of doing stuff. I'm gonna unplug the USB and plug it back, all right? Again, don't try these at home. It's a professional at work. So I'm gonna unplug the media interface. Look what this dude, Bitwig Studio, is gonna say. It's gonna say like, who endorsed this guy? You know, 9 years in Berlin, I can do that. Boom. All right, let's take a look. It could work or it could not work. We saved, so we're safe. And what you do, usually you mute your outputs because they're gonna blast in your face. It's a beta 3, so we're supposed to put it through hell. That's what we're doing. Bitwig, plugins, real synths. If you've joined, Lord Cazola, hi. Just bought the Oven and Silver Bullet and I haven't tried them yet. Wow, okay, so that's the most amazing coincidence. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. I started a little bit later today, but I have some stuff to print before I can feel safe and say, let's mess this session up. This session is already messed up. Because, oh, okay, hold on. All right, solo. I feel good about it. Why isn't it coming up? If I play it here. Okay, now I don't hear anything. All right, I muted my channels. All right. All right, so. All right, we got it. So that's a Prophet 6 being played from my, that's the 6 you see there with the pedals and Christmas lights being played. So it worked. I unplugged the media interface. Bitwig said, why this guy on Wednesdays? And I just put it back and it works. It doesn't die. I don't know. It's amazing. It's amazing. So now let's try the Prophet 12. All right, solo, of course. And it's playing. Why is my volume very, 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 very low? Because I didn't want to destroy my ears. Well, now I'll have to. So this is playing, but because the MIDI is synchronized there. All right, it's doing. So let's print, people. We got a task to do. Let's pretend that there's audio leads I have sent this music to. Pretend. There's a lot of latency. Is this the Moog? No. Yeah, it is the Moog. Who made this horrible preset? I'm playing like half a second in advance, but it's working. So now we bounce it. Stay with me because we have to try those plugins, but let's bounce this. Solo this dude and we're gonna go bounce and place. It's not kind of liking it. Okay, you hear it? It's saying no, right? I love this. Okay, and now I know why I had low volume, because I was afraid of exploding. Marco says, sounds like usual. So Lovro and I think Lord Cazola as well. I don't. Maybe you're the first time here. I say I usually make this album, especially, will be the sound your sound card makes when your computer is at 100% CPU. I was with Marco when we made these up, and it's like this is gonna be the joke people are gonna say, so are gonna tell. So I'm saying it first. But you know, it's gonna be hard to know if it's a bug or it's actually my music intended to be. I'm not kidding. There's some places are weird. Now, things were completely destroyed. How does the Moog sound by itself? Well, not that good. I'm not sure, did it print it? All right, so I saved, so I should be safe, right? Do I have weird, I have a lot of plugins on, of course, but do I, what? no, this has absolutely nothing to do. This is the session that allowed me to save and said, please, no, don't do it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna quit, no, all right, and we're gonna relaunch, all right. It's a beautiful spaceship. I'm friend with the guy who made it. I'm very proud of it. I mean, it's not just one guy, the guy who sketched it first. So here we go. My first template, this is 11, all right? So that thing you see is an idea for the intro of a song. Unfortunately, I just saved it into the empty sort of template that I want Bitwig to start with. So now it's completely destroyed. All right, we got everything. So what Bitwig does first is it loads things in terms of session. We're all happy about it. Amazing. Okay. And okay. That's the tracks I have. All the brown stuff is percussion. All the violet magenta stuff is kind of bassy things. And the purple is synthesizers. And I made up a sort of a salmon, what is a burgundy color, not even for orchestral stuff, which isn't really there. It's a kind of a distorted brass sound that I tried out in a stream and then it stayed and we're there. So now we're reloading things. I really hope that this works and I don't have to reboot. Computer went to sleep and then I woke it up 6 hours later and obviously hell breaks loose. But I guarantee you without streaming, this works. This goes. But I find it hard to believe that because I'm streaming, this is creating issues. It's impossible. Although this is the first stream that I'm doing in which I have bound my video card on a specific core. All right, there could be a reason why this is completely messed up. And it's entirely my fault. This is bad. So how about here? Okay, Voyager's playing no sound. Why is that? Man, worst stream ever. Why is... Okay, audio works, but the interface doesn't. But, all right. So my interface really doesn't love my... I hate you now. Why do you do that? Everything is recognized. It's just the MIDI port. She doesn't like being on these MIDI port. They're on these USB port. They're all here. What's the matter? Just go. Controllers, whatever. So do I have to unplug it and plug it back? Do we want to hear if I mean the MIDI will not play, right? See, but we fixed the audio. Probably. Let me hear these concertos. So the intro is really audio appears to be hung. Oh gosh. No. Is it hung? No. I don't think the optimizations I've made are really working. Worst stream ever. Well, what I've done yesterday and 2 days ago is I have optimized, which is the result of what you're seeing here. I've destroyed my computer in terms of binding. There was this idea about binding specific cards to specific cores. Okay, so the CPU one is taking care of the video, and the the mouse is somewhere else. But I did the audio card and I did the GPU, and it's kind of something to reduce latency and stuff. But for some reason, I think when I'm streaming, this is actually putting a strain on the computer more than actually with my previous version. So I might have destroyed everything. Can I terminate? Nope, I already did. So Lord Casola says, I bought the oven and the Silver Bullet. Why can't we try it? We will. This should be working. Well, at least I have all the MIDI. I will not turn off the patches and stuff. I need to be able to kind of print it. Well, I know for sure that's gotta be the reason. If it doesn't work, it's because it's associating its own stuff on things that it shouldn't do for whatever reason. So there has to be, let's see if we're hung here. Otherwise, what we do, we'll play stuff. No, come on. Unhung yourself. We'll do with the audio, okay? We don't print the MIDI, we just go there. But it will work, hold on. I will show you that the beta actually works. If audio appears to be hung, what you do is you wait. And we'll be there. I guarantee you those clicks we heard, as you see, it's not part of the composer's vision of the song. It's not part of that. So fascinating. When I'm not streaming, the configuration I had with Core 1 on the GPU and Core 5, I think, on the audio card, actually was doing better. So let's reactivate the audio engine. Also, my Sound Toys NFR is expired, but I got Valeria's iLock and she got them, so I'm safe. So, you know, I had to borrow her iLock. It's like, can I use it? It's like, open a cloud session. I was like, I don't want to really do it. So now we're reloading plugins. You know, things apparently, you know, were lost, but no, they're not. They aren't. Actually, this part should play, right? Yeah, so it's mostly the introduction that I need to print. There's a Nord lead patch I have to print, and there's the Voyager I have to print, and there's the DW I've printed. The DW8000, by the way, is on since Sunday. I haven't turned it off. There's a setting of the arpeggiator that I could save the patch. I'm just not sure it really works. And I am not, probably it's not even that important, but. Also coil, I wanted to print it so that we don't have to use the virtual instruments. All right, let's see here. Let's go here where things are dangerous. Here. Do we hear stuff? All right, and people go like, oh, this song, I know this song. This is from the upcoming record of Alberto Rizzo Schettino album. Absolutely yes, absolutely yes. So, for example, these kicks. Don't tell me your sound card doesn't do these sounds when your CPU's maxed out. Or this. Right? Hey, Mars, how you doing? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. We're just trying to destroy Bitwig, but we have better things to do actually, but we're not doing them because I keep optimizing my computer. So it just destroys things. All right, yeah, that's what I do. And so we had tons of issues. I just wanted to, I'm kind of proud of some things I've done, but see, I have to print them, a lot of them. So here these, people say the DW8000 sounds bad. And I think you can find one for maybe still $150 or 200 if it's destroyed. And hear this sound. Right? I love this. And that's the weird arpeggiator patch. And you say, why do you use it? It doesn't sound like an arpeggiated part. It isn't, but it's just how it's re-triggering through the octaves that triggers the reverbs and weird stuff. Then there's Concerto, which is free. I don't know if you know that. It's free. Roland released it for free. And I have the D50 thing. All right, that's the introduction of this tune. And this kind of took me the whole good part of yesterday. I'm going to add sound by sound so you kind of appreciate that. I hope the Prophet's printed, so it should work. Right? Mars says, I have Concerto as some great sounds in Concerto. Absolutely, yeah. And it's free. It's free. They used to sell it and then they said, to hell with it. We're not gonna maintain it, and so off we go, you know. And I think the D50, I don't really like the D50 as like a synth to have to play things live. When I had a chance to get it, and when I was playing live, I didn't really need it. You know, I just didn't think, but I love the sounds that it has for a specific time frame. And the references I was given for this project I'm working on had, in my opinion, tons of D50 sounds. And you know, how do you know? Well, you know, it's like the M1, the D50, the DX7, you know, you hear stuff and go like, I can do that with a DX7, you know, and people say like, don't do it though. A lot of people hate those synths. They're not the most beautiful ones, but they're broken cold and somehow 90s dream. I don't know. There's got to be a 90s component to it. For some reason, for sure there is. So did I print the browns as well? You see how much stuff is moving around? All right, so this is just some of the sounds, okay? I'm just trying to see, just to feed the computer with a little bit of sounds and just see if it explodes. So far, it's not exploding. Mars is saying, Roland Cloud Ultimate Play for Life is the only subscription service I have because the sounds they have for the instruments sound better than any other emulation of those devices. I have an old JV1080 behind me here. You can't see it, but if I move the gear camera, you'll see it. It's down below here, you know, the left, it's off. Now the whole cabinet there, the 4 is off. It's below the Moog. And I have in there, I think I have the Vintage Synth expansion card, which is the most beautiful expansion that I think the JV had. Then I have Euro what is it? Euro synth, Euro disco, Euro something, which has the sounds you believe you will never use, and then you start writing music like this, and they are absolutely amazing drum kits and percussion. And then I have a third expansion. I think it loads up to 3, right? The third one should be keyboards or something. I don't even know. Well, you know, you can see it from the expansions, but I have it loaded because I found the expansions. I bought it in 1999, I think, or something. The JV, I had JD 880s. I sold them all. I had 3 of them. I had one JV 990 as well when I was in LA, and I sold it. And then the 1080 I kept. And I think, yes, Roland, you'll find plenty of sounds that emulate Roland stuff, but Roland really made it cool. And the Concerto series is all completely free. And when I saw it, I was like, all right, we do it. That's it. Awesome. So let's go here. Let's go to a part where things kind of explode a little bit here. Okay, I think this part is nice. I think this part is nice to test our mix bus people. Okay, so I have to. Okay, there's one thing maybe that I don't 100% like about the module devices section is that I tend to leave like this for the most part of the time. All right, so you're right. The mix is probably low on you. It's actually a little bit low on me as well. So now it's probably restarted. Okay, so this part is where I was talking. Actually, you had it off. Okay, so here we go. So this is the part that we will investigate. Here how there's kind of a little bit of a deep thing. I think my favorite was the J3 XP. I never had one, but I had a very good friend in Firenze who kind of bought it after going after a lot of what I know, like he at the time he wanted a Poly 6 like this one here, and then he bought one. But you know, he was still living with his parents, didn't have much money, and said like, all right, so I'm gonna get the JX3P. I don't know, maybe we'll do something. And then he said, this thing is amazing. It's very underrated. There is another the JX3P, another synth that I would buy if you find a good deal, because those things will go up in price. I regret selling the JD's 800s. I had 3, not together, you know, but just I had it, did sessions, sold it. I bought another one. I had to fly back to Italy, sold it. And then I bought a third one in Italy, used in Siena, in a very nice store that used to have a lot of used synthesizers, a very good hub for it. And then I bought it, and I bought my Nord lead there at the same time, and I bought the Little Fatty as well, all used. And I kept only the Nord lead 2X, and then, yeah. They sell them as soft synthetic. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they work, you know, they're not, you don't really need, it's still digital stuff, but having it in front of you and just playing it, it's a beautiful experience. Absolutely. So, and yeah, I bought a lot. I had sessions to do, and I had a record to go record as a player. So when they confirmed that I was the keyboardist, I just took part of the money, I don't know how much it was, like 20%, and wasted it instantly on synths. And the reason was I need those, obviously. So, and then I think the JD800 I sold to one of my piano students who still has it. The plan was that I would buy it and then he would buy it off me without visiting the store. And yeah, and then M1 he still has, but he didn't buy from me. And yeah, that was nice, right? I will go there, I'll buy the synth, I'll do the sessions, and then you'll buy it from me at the same price. All right. And he was like, okay, but I was like, but will I like the JD800? And I was like, you'll love it. Because I knew the guy, he was into a lot of music that kind of had it. And I was like, okay. And he still has it, loves it to death. Cleaned it, I taught him how to clean the glue. I'm digressing. Synthesizers are an amazing thing. So here's the part we could try it on. This kind of stuff. DJ Sasha, yeah, absolutely, yeah, I know. Like he thanks his JD800 for existing. Absolutely, I think it's the problem with that keyboard is finding a case for it. Man, that is hard. I sold it before flying back to Italy because I just couldn't find a soft case to bring it with me, and I actually had my Nord lead with me, so I needed an ATA case. And there was no way. I probably should have made a custom one, and I didn't do it in time. Typical wasted thing. Yeah. Absolutely. So my mix bus at the moment, for those of you who didn't know, and I'm composing and mixing through it, is a 6030 Varimu compressor going into a 6020 because we added it, and I completely forgot it was on, so now we have to keep it, into the Metric Halo Mass 432D, whatever, the Soundtech that Metric Halo with Make Believe made, and then the glue. Okay, so here it is, from left to right, signal flows like that, and it is bulky, yeah, absolutely. Like it doesn't fit anything ever any brand has ever thought about. It's like it shouldn't exist, so we didn't do it, But it's a super famous one, so. Anyway, so this is the settings, and I've been trying for the life of me to find a replacement. I hope Saitomi doesn't hate me because, I love the glue. And I mean, the outcome is I just cannot replace it. I just cannot replace it. There is something about the glue for all of the SSL stuff I've tried, and it just has that something that I don't want to miss. And look, I'm reckless. I'm doing no oversampling. Minimum phase. I had it on linear 2 times. Gotta be honest with you, I kind of like it 1 time as well. I suppose the aliasing is kind of helping my music somehow. So I don't know. I've been trying to replace it with literally everything I have. Like I wake up at 7 in the morning. No, I wake up at later in the morning, almost no morning. And the first thing I do after breakfast is I try and replace the cytomic glue. It's become an obsession. Like it cannot be that I have nothing else that sounds like better. Because to me, an SSL sound here doesn't quite match my style. I guarantee you, I always go like, no, it's gotta stay. So these things are staying, okay? I propose that right after the glue, before one of the most controversial plugins humanity has ever created, which is Good Math, which is, it's staying there. Now it's for good luck, probably, but it's doing something. It's doing some gain changes and it's forcing the computer to whatever. And my placebo effect is just thinking, it's better with. So I don't know if you know Make Believe Studios. These people are in Nebraska, and if I'm ever like 100 miles from them, make it 200, because I don't know how much stuff is around them, I gotta go visit, because it's just like, I gotta see these people in the face, and it's like, you did plugins that, you're selling plugins, that people are gonna say, like, why does this even exist? I guarantee you, they make amazing stuff. Controversial, yes, but there's reason why they do their stuff. And they really believe, Make Believe Studios is a dangerous name, because it's like, are they for real? They're for real, absolutely. The sound tech they did with Metric Halo is amazing. But, they are also a testament to, you should really understand how our ears work independently from the eyes. And we just don't want to let them be free, So, I think aliasing helps my music. Quote of the day. All right, Marco, just keep note. Some like normal people that do streams, they have moderators, right? People that make sure that there's, people behaving and all stuff. I'm next level. I don't need moderators. I need people who just take note of stuff that on my tombstone will be printed, right? And it's gonna be a huge tombstone. It's gonna be humongous. And there's gonna be all of these stupid sentences that are actually funny. Gotta be, I believe aliasing helps my music. Probably does. So if you wanna know what Good Math is, because this is what we do in the stream. We take one direction and we keep it, but we stop by all of the fast food chains, unfortunately. And so, everybody in the bus gotta pee at different times. And, some people crave candies or whatever. And so it's a constant, it's one of those movies where they never get there, right? But it's about the journey. So it's about ideas and things. Good Math does 3 gain changes. It's, like in this case, it does plus 0.33, minus 0.67, and plus 34. I completely made these numbers up, and they come from the preset error. They even have presets for this stuff. They are insane. And it just adds and subtracts, and in the end it comes back at 67 minus 67, so it's 0, right? But in doing so, it's forcing the computer to round up the numbers, some sort of kind of a dithering thing, but it's not. And if you click in the A hole, it's actually what they say in the manual. It adds some, it just bumps a little bit of the dithering up, I think. I am not sure what it does, but I am kind of afraid to put the finger in there, so I didn't. But now it stays, Same with Gulfos, Gulfos I use a lot, but not in this phase. When I'll master this song, because nobody will buy it as a licensed song, and I will master it for my own music, I use Gulfos all the time. And I've been using it since, I think, probably 2020. So always. Very, very lightly, but good for us always. And after that, we got MBEQ, which is a beautiful EQ. And we got many, yes, okay, but it's still Make Believe Studios that have these Metric Halo collaboration, and they made these EQ. I just cannot take that out. I propose before Good Math, we instantiate the Silver Bullet, all right? and then we'll try the oven. Oh no, come on. Really? Come on. Really? And I imagine if I do the oven, it's the same thing. Nope. Nope. All right. So, all right. Okay. Why didn't it activate? Oh God, don't tell me that the trial has ended because I've put Valeria's licensing in here and it's expired. Oh no, because that's where the demo that I had was there. Nothing is working, but no, it is working. All right, so Silver, go. I don't know, Jolie is not here. You know, that's the patron of mine proposed, like, you gotta try Silver Bullet. And I made a preset for it. And crap, and now it doesn't work. But anyway, the oven. Let's try the oven because this thing is just, you know, Handy Amps and Mauer made something really cool. If you want to do the oven, you'll stay here hours because it's just, the interaction is so cool. I want to load my preset. Let's go load default. No, I have it here. The oven. Yeah, DZ bus warmer. Okay, let's put it afterwards. Okay, here, let's destroy this one. Okay, let's play these with the bypassed oven, and then I'll just instantiate it. Okay, I'm doing, when I put it on, I'm the least expert on the oven, and I don't think there's many experts except for, you know, Handy Amps themselves, because, you know, he made it. But I raised a little bit of the temp and cook. And I actually know, I think the first thing I like to do on the oven is play with the burners first. And to me, if I'm past 2 on a mix bus, it's already, something's wrong, okay? It's gotta be feather touch. I usually don't touch the switches for some reason. And when I do the burners, I reduce the flow and I increase temp and cook, because I kind of like to create what I believe is a sort of a pressure cooker situation, right? I raise the temp and the cooking and I reduce the flow, okay? Is it like a pool tech? All right, there's a couple videos I've done on, actually haven't done videos with Chris about the oven. We should call in Maur and just have it explained by him. He's super friendly. I'm thinking he will do it. I'm thinking maybe on stream we should have him because he's probably the guy you want to ask about the oven. It isn't, it's a multi-band saturation device, and in the sense that it just adds different stages of saturation in different points with a complicated feedback situation as well, I think. Because, for example, if you lower the flow there in the real unit, you're kind of reworking how the burners versus temperature and cook works. It's super complicated. Obviously, burners are kind of your EQ, okay? So you enhance the low frequency enhancement, you increase it or decrease it, the mid and the top, okay? The flow is kind of, you think it's an output trim, it isn't an output trim. It just reduces the output flow. And again, Handy Amps knows everything about it. We talked about it when we were discussing the Michelangelo. What did I miss while I was working? Yeah, you were. Yeah, I gave you a shout out, James, because I think I said I am starting to become the James Joyce of track names or nomenclatures, like the Finnegan's Wake, but for track names. That should be a manual, an addendum to, you know, like Pro Tools, they give you that, you know, the Finnegan's Pro Tools Wake, because I'm starting to make weird symbols that tell me things about the track name and stuff. So, but the quote of the day, Marco says, is, I think aliasing helps my music. And it's a deep, actually, it's a deep sentence, because I'm not oversampling the glue. I'm just staying at 1. And I said, I'm waking up every morning at 7, no, much later. But when I wake up, I have breakfast. The first thing I try to do is try and find a replacement for the Cytomic, the glue. And so far, I haven't found it. I always like it with and without that. So, all right. So, so we were talking about the oven and the fact that some people have been saying, I had a comment on YouTube that I spread misinformation, that me and Mike Patrick, I apparently have a My Patrick. So I don't, Patrick is not connected right now. Sometimes he comes in later. He's My Patrick now for some reason. So I have a Patrick in my life, you know. And this guy said, like, you and your Patrick, you know, you're spreading misinformation, which I know absolutely, he was in distress, absolutely in distress. But oh my God, don't tell me that YouTube is now leaving me for whatever. What is going on? I will probably, nothing is working today. Unbelievable. So I hope it works. Maybe you in chat will let me know. I don't know. It's not receiving enough video to maintain. What is this? Just go. Come on. YouTube, you just go. What is you're not receiving? You're receiving. I'm sending you as much as I can. What do you want from me? So, what were we talking about? Yeah, okay. So the oven, you know, because I spread misinformation. I don't want to spread misinformation. Absolutely. I just want to, you know, I when I talk about something I don't completely know, I just say I don't completely know it. I'm sorry, but I can give you, you know, my opinion about what I think I know or things like that. So the oven is probably the one thing that will put a nail in my coffin, because I am the least suited person to use it. But in general, the burners to me are where you will offset low, mid, and high saturation. Does it feel like an equalizer? Partly yes, but not entirely, because you're enhancing the heat, so the kind of a saturation behavior of those areas. So it's kind of increasing the amount of saturation of those low, mid, highs, which in terms, yes, rebalances the spectrum. If you increase temperature, you kind of bring up the whole vibe of your song. So it's kind of raising the volume, but it's not just like clean volume. It's blooming, right? And cooking, it's a little bit more, to me, internal. So temperature takes the whole song, brings it up. Cook is more about how things inside are going up, you know? And James says, we should compare the burners with our multi-band transformers. Yeah, absolutely. I think it will not. It's such an integrated device, the oven, that to keep it static and not, I really don't know. It's so complicated, and it's still a plugin that I have not I've not grown past it, you know, outgrown it. What's the verb I'm looking for? I haven't outgrown it. It still is something that just gives me, you know, new things to think about. But in general, what I think it does is that it just deepens the mix. Let's do a before and after. If I'm in the right spot here. Am I here? Yes. Am I? Yes. Okay. This part, let's try without, and then we go with. And then you'll hear. What I've done, I remember I've done it this afternoon before leaving. I've worked on the burners, rebalancing things I thought I needed. I lowered the flow and increased the temperature. I went a little bit of cooking. I kind of tried the mono maker and stereo with, because I kind of wanted to see if I could do this step here. I usually, in this mix bus, I will do it on master desk. But I said, why not? Let's do it now. And these are added controls that the real unit obviously doesn't have, you know. And then there's the headroom. The last thing I've done is touch the headroom. That's the only thing I've done at last, because I kind of wanted it to be breathing a little bit more. So I'll start off, and then we'll engage it, and let's hear what changes. I'll try and describe what I think is happening. right? I'll just keep that part. What I think happens is, first, what I think a lot of people would expect. I think it's necessary to say that. I would expect a lot of people to think we're gaining granularity sometimes, or kind of a grainy aggression factor on the mid to high frequency content. Okay, I've saved this preset because with the oven, and this is the first preset I have in Bitwig, but I guarantee you that in Studio One and in Nuendo, I have different presets for wow factor moments, you know, and I tend to save more on plugins like this because they kind of always work project-wide as well. And it's a plugin that I don't want to overthink after I have managed to create something nice. So what I like about the oven is that because I probably also don't completely understand it, and because I use it when I am absolutely tired of setting the mix bus and working on the arrangement. These I've set today. You know, I haven't worked on the mix bus. I was composing the introduction and stuff. I've been composer the whole day, the whole morning, and then comes lunch, come back here, and I get this idea of saying like, yeah, the oven, I think it would work right after the glue. So my engineer energy is completely available to me, right? Also, I had lunch, so also I had something good to eat, right? Pasta, I don't remember even. And so because of this combination of a good lunch and being completely fresh engineering wise, I just took it up, did this that you see, and I was like, wow, okay, save it, you know? And when I have this save thing, and again, I hear it and I'm like, wow, yes, I like that. I always believe when I hear saturation and stuff that it's gonna be mid to high frequency content attitude and push. To tell you that this does it would be false. And I don't want to spread misinformation. Me and my Patrick, we don't do that. Patrick, I don't think when he's gonna watch this stream recorded if he's not here. It's like, we don't want to do that. Contrary to what? You know, we don't do that. We're not on the naughty list. Absolutely. So we're on the good list, right? So I guarantee you that if you try these after this project is done, because I've done it, and you take it to a next assignment, like you get a different vibe of record because, or maybe you compose something else, and you remember this was awesome, and you try this preset, it will go, yes-ish, you know? But because you know how nice this can sound when it really does it, you will not want to use that preset, which I still believe, you know, it's just a sign of a good plugin. You know, I imagine what the real thing would do, apart from heating the apartment or the studio room, but like physically, because I think it will run pretty hot, you know, it would be fun to kind of see it sizzle for real. But I don't use all the functions, although with time I've started to venture into using more stuff. So what is happening? To me, this mix is, did I compensate the output? I'm scared to touch it. 0. Okay, no, I haven't, but I've touched the flow. All right, so right, do we know maybe Mars is one of the patrons that I don't know. I just saw James says like, do I know you? Because yeah, Mars is like, that was, I was thinking, so maybe on Discord when we talked about it you heard it. So I don't believe we'd met. Okay, so maybe Mars was thinking about something. Our multi-band transformers is something that with James we've been working on, and then on Discord to create a multi-band set of metric halo transformer character settings, right? So that's what James was referring to, you know. And I said it's kind of not doing. I think both would actually work because the other one is really, you know, effortless, and this one could even stay on top of it. I don't think they will clash, but what it feels to me is that the mix is going ever so slightly back. The things that are pushing through which are nice, are no longer pushing through. It's not really tickling the skin of my cheeks, you know, the frontal cheeks, not the back cheeks, right? Because the mix coming from the front, not from the back. So it's really not really tickling, you know, the high frequency content is not like frozen rain that is kind of ever so slightly tickling my cheeks. It's no longer doing it. There's kind of a layer of mystical protection. I don't know. It's just like there's a halo of a very soft, warm aura of energy that is kind of pillowing the whole mix a little bit back, but within itself, the mix is deeper somehow. The elements are there's a wider front to back separation somehow. It's everything is kind of backwards, and it's probably, yes, my settings. So what I like about the choice of having these on the mix bus is the sacrifice, that feeling of sacrifice. Like I am giving up a lot of very precise details and things that hit the listener in favor of the wide picture, you know. And because the assignment, the thing I know where these could be played, I am more interested in depth, in letting yourself go into the mass of sound rather than being completely contrasted by it, you know. Hey, oh, this is a hard one to say. So this is Cenocytic. I'm gonna say that, Cenocytic. Is it? Am I butchering your nickname? I hope not. It sounds amazing. What is Cenocytic? What Cenocytic? Cenocytic. That's how I'm gonna say it. Welcome, Cenocytic. Pleasure to meet you as well. We're just trying the oven on a full mix. So this is what it does to me. That's the feeling I have. I propose we go B, which is completely starting point, and we just move stuff, okay? Because, you know, it's good. And it deserves kind of doing this, you know. I'm happy about helping, you know, Mauer and Handy Amps. They've been amazingly friendly to me. They're great people. But if I didn't know them, honestly, it's the same. There aren't many plugins that do this stuff. And this goes a long way. And to me, it's really important. And I did various projects with these on the mix bus. It always had something to say that in my years of experience, I was like, man, it's hard to do it otherwise, you know? Maybe you don't quite like it, but if you want to do it with another plugin, combo of plugins, it's kind of hard. So let's try the Bardners first. I don't know why I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? Because I'm on B? Can I go on C? Oh God, it's it's got a life of its own. What? Who? Where? Why? Shut yourself off. Turn up. Come back. All right. I think because he went to. No, this is cool. Where is this guy? Sounds more. It's this one. Okay. Are you there? Are we done? Okay. Sizzle at top. We got a live one. So this track already sounds like the Bardners are on. Yeah, well, it's yes, exactly. Well, if you bypass it from flat, I know what you mean. Yes, it does. There's the Bardners are on, and it's more about like the gas stove is on, but there's no flame yet. And it won't be probably off. So when it's off and on, it already has a vibe, obviously. So even without, let's keep it in stereo mode digital, because TMT is kind of an added thing that Plugin Alliance also puts on top, right? So So everything's live, right? You hear the delay isn't there, but because I stopped it on time. So it does a very light thing, but it's a huge thing just off on. And I think this one kind of sounds like good tubes. And by good, I mean made for a mastering situation. Because I kind of, again, I don't quite like tubes on stuff I write because they slow things down too much. And I don't use tape a lot either on my mix buses, but I think this one has a very nice quality. It just subtracts the listener's ability to overthink the details of the mix, you know, and I kind of become more detached from the whole millions of things that are happening as a composer as well, which I like. I don't want to over obsess more than I already do. So top, mid, and low. It's hard to go wrong. I would very much imagine that after being fired for using reverbs that have 45 seconds of tail, the next composer that they hire, the producer will ask them to say, well, can you make them brighter? And it will still be fine. And the composer that works after me will say, it's not how I wanted it and not how Alberto wanted it, but it sounds fine, bright, and mid-driven as well. Yeah, so it's a very euphonic musical way, but it's not just like using a Pultec EQ. It's never sharpening the teeth too much. The mids are off the hook. I think the mid barn itself is worth probably the price of the unit. Of the plugin for sure, even off on, if you couldn't touch anything, sounds great. So let's try temperature versus flow, which I think are two things I like to counteract together. So I'll move them manually because I'm not, multitasking guy. Now we keep it flat. All the partners are flat. Hear what temperature does when I raise it. It's like a musical volume fader somehow, but it's not that. It's just like the size of things. And I'm thinking about some famous engineers who said, so oftentimes in their master classes, they say, who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want that? Why wouldn't you want that? It's true, it's really addictive. And a mix just sounds better. I mean, it sounds louder, of course, so I know we're kind of, I wouldn't say cheating ourselves, but kind of, it's louder. So when it's louder, there's a lot more stuff that kicks in our brain and things. But it's aggressive also. I think because of for example, in my style of music and these specific type of tunes, they ask for more because there's not a very right or wrong situation. It's probably wrong from the get-go. So, because it's wrong from the get-go, you can do whatever you want. If you keep a straight face and you just say it's exactly how I wanted it, I mean, in a genre like this one, you can probably get away with a lot of stuff. And I'm thinking I'm not playing it safe, but I'm probably still playing it safe. Somebody who's 18 years younger than me would probably do things twice as, more energetic. So this temp thing for me is really like kind of hard to not overuse somehow. Let's try temp with flow, okay? Let's try and make it let's try and flow it down and then temp it up. That's how I like to rebalance it instead of using the main output. It's insane. This one, it feels to me like there's a little bit of a higher mix. Like this, like those, the monitors are kind of higher, a little bit, but not just like reverb height. It's a little bit more like the mix is kind of getting taller and it's like looking down on me somehow, just because I'm compensating that. And again, I don't think that flow is a volume trim somehow. I think it's just a way to reduce the flow out of the oven, and so there's kind of a pressure cooker situation. I don't even remember if Chris said that exact term, pressure cooker situation. I don't remember. Let's try the sizzle, and then we'll try cook. Okay, I'll keep these at 5. Man, I'm gonna say these so that I can watch my own stream and then remember. You know what? Automating the temperature on the bigger part of the song, this could be really, you know how, like, for example, now the main part, that was the heavier part, isn't really hitting me that much because I've been building around here. So before, the part called, with the very smart marker Untitled, was kind of the highest peak in here. Although there's a Prophet 6 and there's a Prophet 6 that is not playing because of the MIDI track. Is it playing or not? I don't think it is. So we are indeed, oh, and there's a Nord lead as well that is missing because the MIDI is kind of off. Yeah, absolutely. We'll do the trick of the MIDI thing afterwards because it could destroy stuff. So it is actually growing more than we hear. But I'm thinking it would be kind of an awesome trick to have to kind of raise the temp, which is fascinating that it makes sense. Like raise the temperature of the song could be a way of saying, like, you know, make it more interesting, more exciting. So now sizzle. Let's try sizzle, which I rarely use. I'll try Bunsen on and off and sizzle flow. I don't even know. I gotta be honest with you, because I don't want to spread misinformation. Neither my Patrick wants to. This is gonna be a theme now. I don't know if the Bunsen actually turns on sizzle. I think sizzle will be on anyway. Let's try that. And then there's 2 sizzle types. Okay, maybe Bunsen is actually turning the sizzle on. Okay, because I cannot hear it. All right, let's try that again. James asks, Bunsen are Barners, at least in the chemistry lab? Yeah, exactly. Remember that? The Bunsen beak, what is called in English, I don't remember, as I was in Italy doing that in high school. And it's just the nice little flame that Bunsen Brenner. Yeah, exactly, in German. Yeah, it's just a burner that, but this is a plugin for audio. So I'm not boiling frogs. So I never boiled frogs, just so we're safe. And so I don't. It sounds like it's either enhancing the sizzle more, or just turning the sizzle on, right? So to me, it's sizzle at 10, and then I go Bunsen on, and I go like, okay, well now I hear them, you know. It's very, very, very high frequency content, but it doesn't feel like you're raising a very high shelf, right? I think Bunsen was the last name, right, of the guy who invented the Bunsen burner. I don't know. I don't want to spread misinformation, you know. So I don't know. But maybe we'll look at Wikipedia will tell us. So there's 2 sizzles. Let's try the 2 sizzles with Bunsen on, because I can't hear it with Bunsen off. Maybe I'm tired. Okay, so B sounds higher to me than A. I kind of like A better here. And I'm thinking, you remember when I said, I hope you do because I said it like 5 minutes ago, even I remember that there's with the oven on with my preset, the mix was sounding a little bit more distant, but kind of like heated up, like into an aura of energy and kind of thicker or kind of deeper with this warm kind of dark air. You can probably use the sizzle to recover that sparkling detail that is no longer touching your. Yeah, Robert Bunsen, maybe he pivoted on PBQ. Absolutely. So Robert Bunsen, thank you, Mars. It's a last name, right? The guy who invented that. To be fair, I've never heard of the Bunsen sizzle. Yeah, no. Imagine this guy being into a plugin now because of this and being in audio. Fascinating. So maybe you can recover that. If I go here, A, that's my preset. Let's try and go Bunsen on and then sizzle. But this what is this automating itself? Okay, no, yes, no, yes. Turn it on and off. Why is my preset doing that? I had it on another plugin. What if I do A? Oh, he doesn't want it. All right. Okay, well, we'll stay B. Actually, I'm gonna reload this. It's the day of whatever. I have no idea. This happened to me with beta 3, so I'm thinking could be something related to maybe the Bitwig beta or something. So let's try and go Bunsen on and increase the sizzle on my preset, right? So this could probably bring up some detail back. Wow, yes. Okay, so thanks to you, I've now learned what sizzle will probably do best in how I feel about that. It's recovering that sparkling detail that the burning, temperature cooking, maybe probably the flow that goes below 10, which seems to be the default. You can only attenuate that, is kind of giving. So a little bit more sizzle. I'm thinking these presets should be saved like this. It sounds like it targets particular harmonics. It does, right? And it's kind of upper mid section. I think the oven generally achieves spectral rebalancing through harmonic injection somehow. So it's not just entirely, of course, just doing EQ, right? And it's not just the tubes, it's a little bit of everything. 1/3 is probably O, says Marx, and second degree harmonics and third degree harmonics are probably, yeah, but it's how it's kind of multi-band shifted. I don't know if in the unit, the real unit, the signal's kind of splitting itself and then getting resummed. There are passive elements for sure. So when you add something like, it's even in the Michelangelo that happens, you raise something up and you're deducting from the total energy, so it always stays in balance somehow. Could be that. Then let's try cook and try broil and gas, because I'm using electricity right now, but there's gas as well. I'm starting to think I don't know what I like anymore, because my part of my brain is saying put to 10, go. The other one 10, the other one 10. Go to 10, and then what about these 10? There's no 11 here. I know you're gonna make that joke. So cook is a little bit like, it's bringing the mix up, but in terms of like blooming, but I can kind of see the flame. It's no longer like a temperature thing. It's about that it's kind of a halo that goes up and forward. So temperature is a little bit more about sound stage heft, and cook is more about center channel vibe versus the side, although the side itself is also kind of sparkling more. So, and it makes sense because I'm no longer baking, I'm broiling. I'm fascinated by how the terms, maybe it's placebo because I read them, they kind of feel like it. And gas is much more comprehensive and a little bit more, it felt a little bit more chaotic somehow. Does it make sense to you? I went to 10 with gas, which try electricity as well, but the gas kind of had a more, like what tube do, like a little bit more. He wants to go where he wants to go, just not, I'm no longer completely in control. Electricity sounded more controllable and it required less attenuation somehow. And Mars says additive, additive, not addictive. It's addictive to me, but it's additive synthesis. The synthesizers have the same functions. Yeah, exactly. It sounds like it's a parallel injection into the main mix, preserving phase beautifully, and when it doesn't, it's still breaking the mix free of being in a DAW. I think it's one of the, it's not the only one, but it's one of the plugins that just help us break free from that DAW sound. You know, although for my music, a DAW sound probably be perfect because it's just like, it's synthetic, it's digital. There's a lot of that, you know, repeated, quantized. There's that, but it sounds beautiful when it's so organic. Plugins like these are giving analog kind of a hard time considering the chains you need to go through to kind of get these. Although there's an analog version of the, obviously, the oven as well. So, and you're thinking flow levels out the peaks as well. It's kind of reducing the behavior of it, or maybe of the feedback somehow, or I don't know. Maybe it's adding more, a little bit of feedback while the flow is going down, but it's also bringing the peaks down. Yes, it's kind of taming it. So by going less flow, higher temp, it does sound like it's compressing, like, right? That's the first thing I heard when I tried the preset again with you today. It's like, it's cushioning the mix. It's putting it behind a little bit and it's cushioning the mix. And then again, I have a mono maker here, a stereo width. There's, you know, there's different stuff going on for sure. So there's a parallel injection. I mean, this one, 100 hertz, 7%, whatever, is kind of a taken from the master desk that I had. And then it's got calibration. Let's try the headroom. I mean, I think probably headroom will probably get it to distort more. I know what you're thinking. You can make that joke. Like, -24 is just what the song needs to get finished, right? Yeah, I know. Well, okay, well, as an effect, however, we can inject the parallel. So let's stay at 50 and just go. So this is also good. I should save this preset as well. Although it's a little bit too badass for my taste. I'll leave it to just the stream. So I'm completely crashing the headroom. It's got a nice distorted sound. It's feeling pretty realistic for, you know, when these plugins go extreme, they're never, like if you overdream real tubes, you know that there's kind of, I don't want to say a pattern to plugins, but it's kind of, my brain is kind of picking patterns up. I know the people at Plugin Alliance are just like, call the police on this guy. You know, he's spreading misinformation. It feels a little bit more patterned. Like I can feel a scheme. a pattern. On the real stuff, and sometimes that's not a good thing, it's just all over the place. And it's definitely an interesting plugin, right, Mars? Yeah, absolutely. Like, I am okay with plugins. I like this plugin, but I'm okay with plugins that I don't quite like in terms of feeling perfect for my stuff. But when I feel it's kind of unique, I've tried so many in the years, when I feel it's doing something unique and I feel it's kind of what it wants to do, I am more attracted to them than to a supposedly perfect analog emulation of something. Or, I like the weird stuff for sure, So, yeah, it feels a little bit patterned again, but then we did what? 11% of parallel mixing, and it's essentially even more delicate than what I was doing with my preset. So for some reason, yeah, it works. So absolutely. Yeah, I would love to, like, this has to be put against the Silver Bullet for sure. I'll try and have it work, probably like reauthorize it through the Plugin Alliance portal and just try it out, or maybe ask for kind of a demo through well, I think I've run out of demo Valeria's as well. That's why it's kind of expiring things around. I dialed it in today, but it picked up the expired demo from Valeria's account. No, Elevate Audio Engineering, you didn't miss the Silver Bullet part. Welcome to the stream. I just turned it on and it didn't authorize. I was authorized today. The computer went to sleep and then it came back before the stream and nothing has worked so far. So we're kind of here in the middle of the scenery. And it didn't authorize. So I'm probably gonna be right back, try and authorize it through my account, put in my credentials and stuff, and see if it works. Or worst case, kind of, I don't think I will ever have another kind of because the accounts I have, either mine or Valeria, I use Valeria's account for a lot of stuff she doesn't use for demos. And so then, I always have kind of another account for another iLock for testing stuff and just not burning 14 days of a demo. And if I, want to try it again, but I think I've run out of it when I tried the Silver Bullet. I think on Discord, we were talking about it with Mike. James probably remembers. I think Mike, who's into mastering a lot, said, I tried the Silver Bullet. There's something it does. We talk. I mean, help me out, James. Probably you remember. And then I've instantiated the demo. And this is one of the best things I know how to do. Try a demo, like start it up and say, I'll try it. And then go somewhere else, wake up 14 days later or 30 days later and say, like, oh, it's actually, I have to try that plugin. And the whole Softube Wise engineering plugin bundle, I've gotten the demos and started them all up and then forgot about them. And then I wanted to make a video about them. Turns out the demos are expired. And he uses the oven rather than Silver Bullet. But I think he mentioned it when he was trying that. He said it's kind of a saturator, whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna go be right back. I hope I can fix it. Let's try and do that. Maybe it's fast, maybe it's not fast. I'll try and log in with the accounts that either I have or Valeria has and try and get it done. Maybe I'll get a 14 days demo again, maybe probably not. Let's see how it works. All right, otherwise I have to go buy it and come back. How's that? I think I probably can get it for like 29 bucks, which I should. All right, so be right back. I even have a screen for be right back. Are you ready? Boom. Boom. I did it. How did I do it? I bought it. Right. So, Silver Bullet. Now, do I have a preset of mine here? Absolutely. Alberta's DZ. So are you ready? Same spot. We go disable and then enable. So remember we got overnighted, and then let's try it without and with, and then we comment on it. Tough, right? Now we come from the oven. I don't know if there's tubes in the Silver Bullet. Again, help me out. I know Louder Than Liftoff because they made this plugin. I didn't know them before. I think they're in California based and they make awesome gear. I mean, it's me not knowing them. You're right. So now they make this as a real unit, if I'm not mistaken. And they made a plugin version of it through Plugin Alliance. I don't know if there's tubes in this unit. I think there's not. So there isn't. There aren't tubes. So we got the oven, which should be tube based. I don't know if there's transformers. I mean, Handyam's weird about it because he just makes weird circuits that work. But the Silver Bullet, is it tube based? I'm asking Mars. He says yes, so probably yes. If it does, it's amazing because this is the plugin, it's not the real thing, but it doesn't sound tubey to me, which is a compliment to it. It sounds much faster than the oven, and it sounds somehow more, I wouldn't say discreet, but to me, I said it at the beginning of the video, the Silver Bullet raises the height of the mix. And the oven increases the depth and intricacy of the mix itself. So somehow they could be used together, for sure. Why not? Mars says, I meant, yes, they made a hardware unit. I don't know if it has tubes. I don't know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. To me, it sounds more like it doesn't achieve these through tubes, but we don't care how they did it. It just sounds awesome. I have to say, it sounds really good, but it sounds way different. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to explain to you what I know about it because, I've tried it 24 hours ago, but it's already enough to buy it. So I got it. And I got it through one of the vouchers. Did you know that Plugin Alliance had vouchers for offers? Amazing, right? I have never heard or ever gotten an email, like a newsletter, from them saying that there was an offer of sorts. I jumped right on it because I don't think Plugin Alliance ever does offers. End of sarcasm. Anyway, so it's got 3 functions, and there's plenty of tooltips. It's got 3 functions. It's mix, pre-EQ, and post-tight. So mix is the most comprehensive function because you go through the saturations, the mojos. Okay, so it could be optical or fed through a CMOS, CMOS filtering matrix, could be, I don't know. But the effect that it did to this mix is, at least for the settings I have, it's a lot less overt. Let's use a French term. I work with French people, so I'm authorized to do that. It's a little bit more overt, and they kind of stop themselves because my French is horrible. But the oven is a little bit more all out. It's just like, boom. It can be subtle, but it just makes you want to go up and then compensate, hopefully. But you achieve, I imagine, even louder mixes just by pushing through. Marco says, A and N are cascading mojo amp circuit topologies inspired by classic American and British consoles from the 70s. So I'm thinking op amps, maybe transformers, maybe, I ICs of sorts, whatever. But I think op-amp, so no, sounds solid to me. Doesn't sound tube-ish. And again, the oven and the Silver Bullet, could very well go together. I don't see why. We should do it. We should probably use the Silver Bullet after or before, do you think? Or actually, when the song is finished, you'll have to name the song, and I'll pick the name that I like more. I just wanted to just give this sort of inception. So it's a series of diodes and op-amps. Could be again. Don't want to spread misinformation, but they say that A and N cascading mojo amp, that Marco has said, circuit topology is inspired by classic American and British consoles from the 70s. So I don't think those consoles had, if they're referring to the same consoles I'm thinking, they don't have tubes. They're referring to solid state consoles, right? So there's a tube module for the hardware. Oh, okay. This would be another amazing piece of hardware I would like. I honestly, I'm not buying anything. If I'm doing anything, I'm selling analog gear, but I am not even doing that. And if I were to buy analog versions, I would get an oven, probably more than a Michelangelo for what I do. And actually now I'm really thinking the Silver Bullet would be like, I would also like a mass overstayer. You know, I love that. Do you use that? That's also fantastic. We've been talking about that on Discord as well. It's great. But anyway, you got a power, you can flip polarity, and then you have 2 or 3 mojo circuits. You have A, you have N, and you have A going into N or N going into A. Then you can instantiate, you can even bypass the whole thing, like if you don't want any mojo, and you go mojo C color, which is an additional color. And you select the type of mojo, and you got Hitmaker 4000, Beatmaker 1200, Vinyl Saturation, Helical Scan, and VHS AF. I wonder what AF stands for. Maybe to paraphrase that, it's like really VHS? I don't know. But in gamers terms, when playing games with friends and they go AF, I kind of think I know what that means. Those drummers are nice. Yeah, it could be absolutely. So, you mean here in the mojo selection? For what? I think Beatmaker could be what? 1200? What could it be? Akai samplers? Maybe. Hitmaker 4000, I think it's solid state logic. I'm thinking. 1200, what could it be? Is it API? Maybe. 1208, maybe. Or not. Let's see. If we go here, red. Red. Okay, maybe. Vinyl, helical scan. Okay, oh, look. Things. Okay, so Beatmaker 1200 is a 12-bit sample rate reduced version of the Hitmaker 4000. Okay, so it's a little bit of an Akai A to D, D to A, whatever, a D to A actually, for the Hitmaker. But I'm gonna keep it here on Hitmaker. So you select how much gain you want. Normally these things are gain linked. So when you increase the gain, it will attenuate the output so that you keep the mojo without tricking yourself. You increase the headroom if you want, you have an output trim, and then you have a dyna realism, which is, it says here, how much the left-right channels and unit-to-unit variations occur throughout the circuits in the digital model of the Q mojo. So it kind of moves things around. There's also flux in terms of depth and rate. If you go on flux, you can select the rate and the depth of how it moves. I kept it symmetrical, and that's it. But after going A and N the way you want, after going to C the way you want, there's an EQ. Simple as that, which I think it kind of backsandalish, maybe. I don't know, maybe not. And it's got different ways of doing lows, I think, right? For the lows. So it can be body, bass, sub 2, and sub 1. And we'll try that. This is insane, really nice. And then the HF has sheen, bite, presence, and mids. And you can go vintage, which I read, okay, alters high frequency response to emulate vintage British consoles. And aspect ratio alters the relationship between width and height of the stereo image to give a more enhanced stereo image. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I like the Silver Bullet because to me it wouldn't necessarily feel like SSL console stuff, and I mean it as a compliment. Like, it's much more in a way because it kind of doesn't sink you down as passing your thing through two channels of a console, which, trust me, people say, oh, it's amazing, it's amazing. Yeah, okay, but it also has its downsides. This one feels like a mastering version of that thing, like op amps for mastering rather than going through all the problems as well of the desk. But I'm digressing. So let's hear, I really liked N, so let's try A, and let's disable tone, and let's try A first, okay? So it's clear then here, while as soon as we go past 12 o'clock, we're distorting things a lot. So everything plays out against 11 o'clock, okay? I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna move there. Okay, so what do I hear with A, which I tried? It was interesting, but it was kind of a pushy thing. It was kind of, the transients were made a little bit bulgier and they were hitting me a little bit more. And there's a little bit more, you know, punch versus defense kind of interaction, which is good, makes things move a lot. It's something that I would always kind of think that a little bit of a nudge goes a long way. It kind of has that oomph. But I tried A first and I was like, all right, I don't know. Yeah, it's good, but like on what I have, do I want to go that in that direction? I was like, it's not what the song kind of needs. I don't feel like it needs to push out of the speakers more. Maybe a low volume, this is something we could want to try, or when you have very saturated, flat EDM mixes or stuff, it can kind of give you that push. I don't know, Marco uses that, so I don't know. Maybe he feels like, you know, sometimes you deal with a lot of reduced dynamics and you want that. Here I'm fighting against stereo effects versus mono drum machines. So I didn't feel like enhancing it was the right path. And that's why I was like, well, okay, it's kind of nice, but it's not what I need. On a rock tune with real drums, guitars, it's a different thing, okay? But I was like, okay. And then I moved to M, okay? Let's do the same with M. Let's do it again. And Marco says, I use it on my synth bass mainly. Okay, awesome, which is, you know, works on synths. But on the whole mix, I tried N and I was like, okay. This one, I don't have a lot of plugins to do that, like this. And it sounds like there's a plateau level rising on the mix. To me, it felt like it's a higher mix. Like, you know, if it was kind of a tank hitting you, it's a taller vehicle now. You know, if it drives at you, like, you know, when the chorus hits and stuff. It just had that added speaker height, you know, like a little bit of a louder loudspeaker in the room. And that one I really liked. And I felt it didn't have a sacrifice to be made in frequency response or like subwoofer response. It was kind of like free height. And to be honest with you, op amps do that. Like, there's a little bit of a height level in Soundtech EQs as well. They're also very present. So they tend to be, I like them for how a little bit in your face they are. For being discreet, they're kind of in your face. So it's kind of hard to feel that height alone because the EQ kind of wants you to kind of get the music out. This one is more like calm and it just goes higher there. So yeah, all right, I did that. And then I said, okay, well, there's an EQ. So let's keep it here. And actually, I tried C. I don't even remember if I liked to have C. Let's try C now. So we go C drive, and the C mix is, you can do like a 50%. Let's try and do 100% wet with the C drive. Bye, James. No worries. See you on the replay and Discord. Thank you for being here. Have a good one. Bye, bye, bye. So, in my case, now I remember I saved the preset without C. I don't think I want to put it on the mix bus, but I like how it's solidifying that. And now I don't know, I'm getting maybe carried away by the SSL kind of tightness. It's making it tighter somehow. Like the elements are more like gears that are meshing better together. Analog 1 on the Dynarealism knob is the best setting. All right, I'll try it out. Thank you, Elevate Audio. Awesome, absolutely. So Dynarealism, when you put it on Analog 1, is the closest to the real hardware unit we modeled. There's a variation between individual potentiometers, gangs, and detents throughout. Oh, the CMix potentiometer is that, am I pronouncing that correctly? I think yes. More accurately represents stereo imbalances in the wet-dry mix. Awesome. All right. Let's try that. So symmetrical is the most amount of left-right symmetry because it uses. Okay. So down. What does analog 2 do? Less subtle. Uses components from B stock, virtual parts beams from some components. All right. Okay. Like I've built my SSL hardware compressor from B stock components of broken duality console. The stereo variation between channels is more exaggerated and can be reminiscent of an auto spec. Okay. Yeah. We'll go analog 1 for sure. So I'm closing in on saying N set. I'm saying B, but it's N. N set at this kind of 10 o'clock. It's what I really liked. Let's try symmetrical and moving it to analog. Wow. Yes. Has to be this. So let me load my version, go analog, save right off the bat. Thank you, Elevate Audio Engineering, for mentioning that, because as I said, I am like 18 hours old, but wow, okay. So now it's alive. This thing has done a little bit of that oven thing, right? It's a little bit more rounded. It's emphasized the N approach. And now let's play with tone. Or I really want to play with tone now. And here how I did that. So there's a 50 and 25. If you want, it's a 2 high-pass filters options, 12 dB per octave, 25, and a bump at 40, which is like a tape bump, quarter inch, I think, and the 12 dB per octave Butterworth at 50, which is well suited for tracking. So I didn't end up using anything here I didn't use tight, because I was feeling like it's carving my lows a little bit too much, but let's keep these at 0, both air and high frequencies, and let's try and crank the lows up and then feel body, bass, sub 2 and sub 1. I think for being an extra to the unit, I felt like, oh, they added EQ. It's kind of, just nice to round it up. No, it's really part of how, you want to say, oh, it says Baxandall. So it is a Baxandall tone circuit. How you want to set this thing up. And I'm thinking my mix could kind of benefit from a Bax EQ. So when I saw this and I said, it could be Baxandall effect. And if I had stayed on the tips, it says Baxandall. And air is kind of, extreme highs. So these two are like shelves from a Bax. And, it's asking for it. Bax stuff, if done correctly, it always feels like, I remember talking with the people at Dangerous, they said, it's like sugar. You know, you gotta be careful because you tend to go, you know, higher and higher. Let's try these four: body, bass, sub 2, sub 1. Yes, I like this, and I think it's making me think this song had no bass before, like no cloud of fundamental bass. It's not true, but I kind of like to find Bach's curves, and I think the Bach CQ that Plugin Alliance makes. I've had two Bach CQs in my ears, two real ones, even at the same time, and it's a fantastic hardware unit. Almost too simple to say, am I paying this much for just this stuff? But man, it's a finisher for songs, and yeah, at +9 it just goes overboard, right? But it fills it up in a very addictive way. Let's try bass instead of body. I kind of like this. Yeah, it was loud in a good way, right? Exactly. Like your brain feels that no way you can keep it at 9, but you analyze the memories of every time you've pushed bass that much, and you go like, this is good for being this much. It's wrong in a great way, you know? Like it's the setting, but it's just building up. I think like old good Pultecs, if you go a couple notches tops, it just feels like that's the song. And when you bypass it, it's like now you're doing something to the song. It feels like the other way around. Pultecs do that a lot. You just fine tune it, you bypass it, and go like, did you do something? And it's like, no, I actually did it when the EQ was on, because off it's as the song was before. You know, but it feels the other way because you get used to it very nicely, like instantly. So let's keep it there. I think it's kind of nice. Let's try it again. I like body maybe more than bass. Absolutely. Let's try high frequencies starting sheen. I was kind of dubious as like, do I want highs here or not? Okay, I can tell you that just from the get-go, these high frequency content would be a lot. It's already a lot, but a lot of the references I've been given actually have a very, very bright thing. Like for some references, I should use probably tonal balance control. I have a couple ways of knowing once I'm done with the song, if I'm off in some regard. I usually, if I do the pre-production right, I am never too far off to want to offset stuff. But man, like if you want to make bright, modern, badass stuff that might a little bit get in the way of sound effects if it's a video game, but they'll carve it afterwards. Just go +9 on sheen. Let's try bright prez and mids. They're all good, but as how I composed it, when it gets brighter, it's like, it's just like everything else. I like to sacrifice the detail because I crave the depth and the darkness and the thick, empty alleys of an abandoned city more than the in-your-face aggressive stuff. So for some reason, I kind of don't want to make it overly bright just because it becomes, yes, it's addictive, but it becomes, old, very, very fast. They're all very good. I think if I had to simulate what body's doing, like something you inject and it feels like it's normal, and I'm always looking there. I know you're there or there, but I would go presence, actually. I mean, it's louder, obviously. I think the back sandal is just doing, I don't know, 300, 220, something. Like it's lifting the foundation of the thing, but it's addictively nice. Let's try air. This is the closest to the sizzle of the oven, to me. Ish. Different, solid, feels like tight and precise, but it's very, very, very up there. And it's like, you know, you should try and feel it more than hearing it. And it becomes like the sizzle when you go +9, you go like, okay, yeah, I hear it. Yeah, I know what it does. But you go +3 and you go like, I don't know if it's there or not. I'm thinking about something. How about we enhance the darkness of the tune by going bright, because it was the one I liked the least for this song, and go minus on bright, and then we go up with air. You know, maybe I have no idea if it's gonna work. I wouldn't want it this way, like, you know, composer taste side, but it's kind of acting like a generic combined high frequency manipulation, obviously, because it's high frequency, like high mids and extreme highs. And the interaction of the two, by using HF on a setting you don't like and you go minus, could be nice for plus air. Or maybe we go presence a little bit up and then we just go a little bit down with air, maybe up with both of them. The addiction level says go up with all of them because they're addictive. And I think if you go really loud on low frequency at that point, I think probably a 50 could do it. Let's try and go crazy with the bass. Try and see if it goes back in position through this 50 thing. I don't know. Yes, okay, yes. Like the subwoofer is being left more alone and you can go a little bit more extreme here. That's for sure. That's for sure. So my preset was doing this. I also had air. I had it on bright. Oh, wow, this is insane. So I kind of liked it on bright pushing up. Now I'm kind of not liking bright anymore. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let's try vintage and aspect ratio. I wanna try aspect ratio first because I thought it was amazing what it does, although I didn't turn it on. I don't think it's specifically necessary, but the way it just changed the positioning of things was kind of unique. Both are very interesting plugins, says Mars. Absolutely. Like, I don't want to put the two brands against each other. There's just no reason. They will probably work, as I said, cascaded. But they do their own stuff. They have a clear vision. You can tell that the people who made the real hardware, like they knew where they wanted to go. And you kind of have to if you want to make hardware stuff. You don't wing hardware units, because if you know what it takes to just develop something and just put it in production, you don't want to wing it. It's just wasted energies, you know. So plugins sometimes they do it, but easy marketing on hardware is not what is that about. So let's try aspect ratio. See, yeah, hear this sound, can you see it? This sound with aspect ratio, it's displaced in a position that is the opposite of what I wanted. it's kind of coming forward, and I hate it when it feels like I want people to hear that weird sound that I added for details and stuff. I so hate it. And so it's the opposite of what I want. So I think it's like the aspect ratio I had was correct. But it's nice, right? It's the same thing, but it's weirdly different. So vintage. Okay, this one, I don't even know if at this time in the evening I would be able to say, oh yes, I hear what it does. But it sounds like vintage. Well, I'm getting carried away by reading the label, vintage. It's a little bit less aggressive, high frequency sculpting, right? It sounds a little bit sandier somehow. And for this type of music, I don't want analog console sandier stuff. I want to just, push it where it is. So then there's circuit bending you can do as well, which I think will probably be like everything will be, exploration is rewarded, they say. It's probably, does the real unit have it? Maybe, maybe not. It's more creative sound design use. The Mojo C, let's try VHS AF on C. I'm curious to see that. That's actually really nice on, what is that? Unfiltered audio. Oh, no wonder I love that. I absolutely love unfiltered audio. I have all of their plugins. It's a serial combination of violin saturation and VHS warble algorithms. I can't talk any longer. That increase saturation intensity as C drive is turned up and increase warble depth as C mix is turned down. Okay. So I have no warble depth. Turn down C mix to reduce the warble. No. So, okay. I have maximum warble and the saturation intensity. I think it just gives the lows a very, how can I define that? Man, now it's hard. I have to go to dinner before I get energy back. But when you're at a nice live set of people using, I'm gonna name names of stuff I love, Electron drum machines and effects, Akai drum machines, some Alizis stuff, And Mars says, I absolutely love unfiltered audio. They're plugins I go for sound design all the time. Same. Unfiltered audio, I don't know. I can't put a face to those people because I've never met them. But if I were to like a fair and I know there's unfiltered audio, I would probably go first. Like, I gotta meet these people. I use Dent, I use Spec Ops, and I love how they call the instant delay, Dent 2. I have all of them. So the only one I don't have is Lion, actually. I should get Lion as well for absolutely no reason. That's the most dangerous thing I can do is, it's a synthesizer, right? Get a synth and then obviously you want to compose with it, but you don't really need that. The song's done and you go like, I gotta add that because it's new. So VHS AF sounds to me like when you're at a gig, at a concert, and somebody has kind of a very good sound of a live set, but it's still not a record, right? Not the quality of a studio record, but it's a very, very good live setting in which the club is nice, but most importantly, the drum machines, the Erica synths, sounds and stuff, they're kind of delivering. VHS AF kind of has that low movement going on. Mar says they have their own website. Yeah, absolutely. I went there and read everything. Lion is nice. I use Spec Ops and Biome regularly. Dent is pretty nice too. Okay, so I don't have Biome as well. But Spec Ops, Dent, instant delay everywhere. I mean, here, can I digress for 2 seconds? Just where? There we go. Instant delay. Oh, God, come on. Now that I've authorized stuff for Valeria stuff, it was actually my demo had expired. Now it doesn't want to do that. Oh, okay, it doesn't work. But Spec Ops, same thing. All right. Alberto's glitch perk generator. So we're not even hearing the song. I mean, now that this works, the other ones is deactivated. All right. So I gotta find a way to either, I have to ask them to merge my two accounts because I think it's just, or maybe I could try a USB activation, not computer activation. Maybe have one thing on USB and the other one on computer. Maybe that would work. And I don't even use any longer, when Marcus was, this guy was studio managing in the studio in Berlin, we had so many mismatching of plugins, it was unbelievable. Like you would compose something and say, oh, I didn't know I had these. And you go home, oh, I don't have these, he does. Insane. So I don't have Triad. Okay, so is it unfiltered audio? I'm missing Triad as well. All right, so there's a lot more. But Dent, 2, Spec Ops, and I just said it, instant delay all the time. I mean, Spec Ops in itself is just off the hook because it's like it can do 12, 15 different things even without modulation, and then you add that one and it's just insane. So that's what VHS AF gave me, like that feeling of a very good live set of people doing, serious drum machine work, bass, and everything is kind of nice and vibing, but it doesn't feel like a studio record, but it feels good because you're like in a live situation. I'm gonna try that again, just completely bypass these and then press play. All right, so Triad is the multi-band version of Biome. Okay. Well, I'll go there and I said I have all their stuff. It turns out I have even half of their stuff. All right, awesome. What they make is just off the hook. Very unique stuff, very lovable, very grinding sometimes. Really, really cool. And inexpensive. They're not, I think I got them again with vouchers on offers and stuff. Really, really cool. What do I think about Silver Bullet in terms of what it does to the mix? I think Silver Bullet is more of handling the height and the forwardness of things. It's very nice, it's very forward, it's very easy to be loved, but it doesn't rework the things that are in the middle of the songwriting. Not too far behind, not too in the front, in the middle. The Oven does exactly that. Like it expands on the innards, the guts of the mix. So, I mean, I am not that old of a user of Silver Bullet, but I doubt, and this is the beautiful thing, that you will ever be able to say, I use the Oven, and to me it just sounds like Silver Bullet, so I don't have to buy one or the other. I think just for testing these, it's impossible. They sound completely different in how they kind of, bring the aggression factor to you. So the Oven is kind of all around within the guts of your mix, and the Silver Bullet, it's, again, the names are nice, right? Because they kind of work. It's kind of that, it's propelling to you, and it's higher ground as well. So very out of the box. Yes, exactly. Unfiltered audio. Yeah, the people there do. So people, this is it. I'm going to dinner very happy that nothing was working, and partially still doesn't, but now it kind of does-ish, a little bit. So I have to really find a way to merge these accounts, or just ask Plugin Alliance for forgiveness and just say, like, can you just join my wife's account and mine together? Or maybe there's something that I'm missing from activating through different devices. But it was amazing. It was amazing. We had a lot of fun with the Oven. Let me bring both. I wonder if this one's got deactivated as well now. I wouldn't be surprised. Let me turn it on. Of course. Oh, yes. Okay, no, this works. All right, so both of them, now they're here. Because I think I probably registered these through the account that is now licensing things. I don't know. So awesome situations. Let me turn this guy on as well. Let me put my preset on here, which I really love and saved. After watching you play with them, I would use them on the mix bus or master level, but I would want a mastering channel post to control the leveling. I think they're a fascinating combo. You can use them. I wouldn't even know if you need one past the other. Like, it's obvious that the oven goes before the Silver Bullet or vice versa. I think they're interacting with things in a way that, because I probably want to attenuate the bullet hit, I would probably try and put the Silver Bullet first and shoot into the oven rather than heat things up and then once they're cooked, shoot them through the Silver Bullet. I don't know if that makes any sense, right? That's kind of a metaphor. But I would like to kind of shoot into the oven because I think that will kind of take the heat and hit and kind of how to smudge things in a good way. Does it make sense? Maybe not, maybe yes. On buses, I don't even want to start there. There's no rule here. You could use maybe the Silver Bullet on percussive stuff, or for example, I think I have like electric grooves, like very fast mid-frequency driven grooves that I would like to kind of be pushy and not be wide, and other grooves like drum machines from Reason that I would probably put the oven on, for example. But in a mix bus or mastering situation, absolutely, like they can be put one after the other. I am torn. I gotta be honest with you. I don't know. I've been using the oven for a long time, so just kind of taking that away to use the Silver Bullet makes no sense. Nobody can do that. If it worked, it's worked. You can't replace one with the other, so you couldn't do even the opposite. But I will probably try and integrate the Silver Bullet maybe before the, you know what, maybe before the Sontic, maybe before the glue actually, maybe before going into the SSL bus compressor. And that could probably even, again, get a little bit more attenuated, but preserve the height, or probably just before the oven, you know. But you can't take one and say, well, you know, I have that one, I will not buy the other one, you know. No. In this case, they're very, very, very close to each other, but completely different. If you use the Michelangelo for some things, it can sound like a lighter oven, but it isn't. But the Silver Bullet and the oven, they share nothing. Like they really, you know, do height and forwardness versus, you know, aggression factor of the guts of your mix. I've said it 10 times now. I'm pretty sure I made my ideas clear. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining in. Thank you, Mars. Thank you, James, who's not here. Thank you, Marco, who's always here because he's taking notes of the stupid stuff I say, or memorable, or both. And thank you, Elevate Audio Engineering. You've been awesome saying that I should use Analog One. I think it completely brings the things to life. I'll try Flux and Sync and things, but for how I like to use it, I think Analog One just completely made the song be out of the door, which is something I really like. Senositic, thank you for joining in. And we have, Lovero, of course, has joined in as well. Thank you again for being here. And Lord Cazola as well, who said at the beginning of the video, the stream, I just bought the oven and Silver Bullet and haven't tried them yet. So he was like, that's the stream I want to watch. And he joined and nothing was working. So awesome. I think, Mars is saying, I'll be asking you what results you get next time. For sure. I don't think I'm going to use it on buses. Just because I don't want to say yes or no, but probably I won't touch the buses, but I'll probably try and inject the Silver Bullet before the oven for sure. It might not be these settings, and if it doesn't do the height thing, I'll place it first, just like first in the chain before the Varimu. Absolutely. And of course, I'll keep working on these. I'll find ways to not destroy my computer while trying to optimize it. And this song is about done, so once it will be kind of ready, you know, I'll ask you on stream or over Discord to just name names for what you think the song should be called, and then I'll name the song. Yeah, maybe I'll do kind of a raffle for 2 or 3 names, or maybe I should just pick the one I like better. I don't know. Just don't come up with names. I know what you think. Don't do it. It has got to be a serious name, right? It's got to be super badass names, because people listen to the songs because of the track name, not obviously not because of who made them. It's a joke, by the way. And Bitwig's been absolutely stable. I am still trying to make it explode. I will probably try and make the glue be not the bass compressor. I think I'm tired. The glue is really the one I like. Absolutely. There's a previous stream, by the way, that I'll post, which we've tried different solutions. The glue has that thing that's perfect for this type of stuff that I'm doing now. A little bit of UAD, a little bit of whatever. What am I using here? Oh, pulverizer, weird modules, beautiful by Blamsoft, Kong Cyber, Reason stuff, you know, lots of, orange clip, of course, which I'll do a video on soon. Amazing clipper as well. And then, yeah, the roll-ons, my real synths, the pedals I have, the effects, lots of stuff. So, yeah, we'll have a ton of other stuff to talk about if I manage to not destroy my computer in the meantime, because everything was working and I touched it. How nice. Never touch it when it works, all right? Make backups, not touch it. And I do have backups, so I might even, but I know what I did, so don't worry. I'll make markers that work, so we can talk about transitioning, the automation I've done, you know. It hasn't crackled at 1024 for sure, but I still have to fix my USB ports and the core assignments, just because I want to stream, record, and do these heavy sessions live like I'm doing with you. Like the synths, a lot of the stuff is playing straight into plugins, straight into buses, straight into mix buses. So it's a lot of stuff. And Pulverizer is a great saturator, absolutely. I have a couple presets. I've used it on a couple of sketches, even on mix buses. I do. And, you know, it sounded fine. And it is amazing. I think it's one of the most beautiful things in terms of effects that Reason has. And I wouldn't want to say it's worth having Reason alone, but it's definitely in my top 3 modules for Reason. All right, people, I'll wrap it up. Go to dinner. See you on Discord. Check my Patreon. We do this stuff 10 times more over Discord. We fiddle with plugins. If you want to have discounts for synths, for virtual instruments, plugins you want to buy, I'm pretty well connected. I'm friends with a lot of people who are very happy about how I teach stuff, and they make us a lot of educational discounts from DAWs, plugins, virtual instruments. Some people joined my Patreon just for the discounts, and I kind of knew it and I was okay with it, but then stayed for the content, which I appreciate. So absolutely check it out, because, you know, if we do these streams, it's because of my patrons. So say thanks to them, you know. I for sure, I'm thankful of being able to do these. Thanks to the people who made these plugins that we tried today. These will be available as a video. Probably some people in the future will watch this as a video. I'm going to dinner. I have no idea what I'm going to eat, but, you know, I have an oven, and if I need to just hunt for something, I have Silver Bullet. Trying to make a joke for finishing. I'm not good at it. It's too late. All right. Thank you very much, people. Good night. See you soon. As usual, you know how it's going to end. Ciao.